So I've had time to stop and think about this year's Lions tour, after giving my thoughts on it in my last video. I still think those 3 tests were slightly boring and could have lived up to some more excitement. Anyway, all of my negative energy will now go, I promise. I've picked my starting team of the series, basically the best players in each position from the 3 tests, so let's get into it. Remember that subscribe button is there, so go down and hit it right now. We're still on a road to 1,000 subscribers, so keep subscribing so that I know you're enjoying the videos. The South African set pieces were one of the key reasons why they were able to win the series, and the scrum was no exception. Steven Kitshoff was probably the best scrummager in this test series. It was probably added to the fact that the Lions didn't really have much cohesion in the scrum, but nonetheless some solid performances from Kitshoff. Although Malcolm Marx didn't start every test, his impact was felt and the British Lions couldn't deal with his phenomenal turnover ability. He was brought on by South Africa just as the Lions tried to pile on pressure, and once Marx was over the ball, there was no getting him off it. Another smart game plan from the Springboks. Tadhg Furlong has probably been one of the best players for the Lions on this tour, and also last tour, so his consistency has been phenomenal. Although the Lions scrum was lacking somewhat against South Africans, Furlong was always prominent in the battle, so for that we can just commend him. With Maro Itoje being player of the series, his key moments in the first test basically allowed the Lions to win that game, especially in the last second turnover at the end of the game. Much like Furlong, Itoje's impact wasn't enough to secure the Lions the series victory, but his individual performances were one of the best. Probably the main reason for the South African dominance, Eben Etzebeth has been one of the best second rows in World Rugby, and this series maintained that status. With his size, we probably expect him to be making huge hits all the time, but instead his management of set piece is the reason why he's in my team. Courtney Lawes was the man of the match in the first test, when the Lions won, and what a game it was. He was playing at 6, but his impact in the line-out was basically of the second row. We all know Lawes for his big hits, and this series was no exception. He put himself all over the field, so hats off to him. Hopefully he can replicate this for England and Saints this year. Another tackle machine at 7, Tom Curry certainly didn't disappoint. Although he's only 23, he plays with so much maturity and physicality. I just hope he can keep that up for all of his career. Curry isn't known overly for his turnovers, but his tackle count and dominance is the reason why he's in my team. Probably the surprise of the tour, Jack Conan was a solid performer in all tests, and Gatland was quite vocal on how consistent he is, and that's the reason why he was in the Lions side. The back line starts off with the South African Imfaf de Klerk. Although he was injured in the final game, his impact was felt in the second test for sure. There wasn't really any other standout scrum halves in this series. I thought the Lions 9s were pretty poor and should have done a lot better. So for me, Faf is in. Of course the standout 10 of the series is Andre Pollard. Controlling the game in each test and kicking most of his goals, Pollard has remained one of the best 10s in the world. I reckon if Finn Russell had started each of the 3 tests, he probably would have been picked for me. His cameo in the final test showed how he can play the game as well as kick his goals. But Pollard is the man at 10 for me. At 12 is the solid figure of de Allende. I don't think a Lions 12 did enough to put themselves in this team. Aki only played there once, and Henshaw hadn't done enough for the side to push himself as a standout player. So Allende is always solid and nullified any attacks the Lions wanted to play. I have the same thoughts on the 13 position. There wasn't many standout performers for either side, but more the Lions really, with a lot of chopping and changing. So I've given the position to Lukhanyo Am, whose spirited performances probably deserved him a place in this side. Now with the back 3, the Springboks won the kicking and air battle most of the time, so it's hard to stray far from them. So Mapimpi is the first winger, having put in solid performances once again. Nothing like his amazing World Cup campaign, however. He just managed to do the job. Similarly, Cheslin Kolbe managed to sprinkle some of his stardust on the final test with a game-winning try, and he too managed the air very well, and being so short, this is credit to him. I also don't think the Lions deserve a place at fullback either, with Hogg and Williams not really showing their ability. So once again, Le Roux has to be my fullback, with how he copes with all problems and manages to help his side under pressure. So yes, that's a full South African backline, but I don't really think any Lions players warranted. Let me know what you think. And that's the video, so here's my best 15 of the Lions series. Let me know what you think down in the comments or any changes that you make to this team. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.